Good morning, welcome to this week's Business Time. Today we will be looking at Jollibee Food Corporation, in particularly Jollibee, the fast food business and its expansion plans. Jollibee is an American-style fast food restaurant with Filipino-influenced dishes. And Jollibee started out with just 5 branches in 1978 and has gone to a strong network of 801 stores in the country and 96 stores internationally. Currently, Jollibee has a stronger presence in Asia as compared to the other regions. And today we'll be having various experts and the strategic manager of Jollibee to know about its next step in its international expansion plan. Before we talk more about the expansion plans, I would now like to invite Miss C from So and So Consultant Company to tell us more about the analysis her team has done for Jollibee. Furthermore, she'll also share with us what core competencies Jollibee can leverage on with respect to its expansion plans.
So to analyze Jollibee, we decided to do a SWOT analysis. To start off, Jollibee has multiple strengths. It's viewed as part of the Filipino heritage and has a dominant position in the Philippines market, being the market leader with a share of the market that's more than all the other multinational brands combined. It achieved this position by developing strong brand loyalty from Filipinos with its delicious menu lineup and its emphasis on customer satisfaction. This was made possible with its culture of humility and integrity, which allowed it to achieve a family-like culture that enables both its employees to feel a sense of belonging and its customers to feel welcome. With this culture, when a customer visits a Jollibee outlet, the employees welcome the customers with a clean and warm in-store environment together with friendly and efficient service. Nevertheless, Jollibee does have its weaknesses. Despite its aggressive international expansion plan, it still has a lack of brand presence overseas as compared to locally in the Philippines, since it's still an emerging global player. Also, it faces difficulty in selecting franchise partners overseas or suitable locations for international investments, as well as coordinating local and international operations. Additionally, due to its strong emphasis on preserving Filipino identity, Jollibee has found it challenging to attract staff overseas, and there's also a high employee turnover rate. Moving on to opportunities, we can see that with increased globalization, a major opportunity will be for Jollibee to expand internationally, which is certainly what they have been embarking on so far. Since there's a large Filipino population worldwide, they could tap on this demand by expanding to the countries that many Filipinos migrate to. Furthermore, there has been a rise of emerging markets in many parts of Asia like China and India, so they could also expand there. Overall, there's a trend of people demanding food to be served fast due to increasing time pressures, which will allow fast food to increasingly serve as a substitute for a meal, and this growing demand for fast food will certainly present Jollibee with many opportunities to expand. Lastly, Jollibee faces many threats, especially due to increased competitive pressures. With many multinational brands like McDonald's and KFC being entrenched in various markets worldwide, Jollibee will certainly find it hard to compete with these strong competitors. Also, when expanding worldwide, Jollibee will not be able to apply one set menu to all countries and may find it challenging to adapt their menu to suit local tastes. Despite the trend of growing demand for fast food, there's also the opposing trend of increasing health consciousness that will deter customers from consuming Jollibee fast food, since it is perceived as unhealthy. So, from the SWOT analysis, we can identify the key competencies of Jollibee. It's clear from Jollibee's strengths that its family-oriented organization culture is one of its key competencies. By using this family-oriented approach in its personnel management, Jollibee managed to win the Best Employer in the Philippines award. Also, Jollibee extended this approach to its marketing and advertising, showing its understanding of its target audience in the Philippines, who treasures family values. By using these family values along with its delicious menu and its emphasis on customer satisfaction, Jollibee has managed to establish itself as a source of Filipino pride, so much so that any Jollibee outlet opening overseas causes Filipinos to flock there, since it feels like home to them.
Thanks, Miss C, for sharing on the analysis done on Jollibee. With the information fresh in mind, I would now like to invite Ms. So to talk more about how well Jollibee has performed while leveraging on its core competencies and also Jollibee's next stop in its expansion plans.
Right. So Jollibee's goal is to become a major player by 2020 with a 50-50 split between domestic and international sales. And given our strong position in Philippines, we are currently far away from this 50-50 goal. And as of 2009, the overseas sales were only 20% of total revenue. We have had two main strategies for international expansion. First, in markets with strong presence of Filipinos, we developed the Jollibee brand there. As Tony has said, there is an existing demand for our products and we do not have to advertise there. Of course, careful consideration is given as we do not enter markets without prior research and profitability analysis done. Second, in markets where it is not as easy to build a brand from scratch, we acquire a portfolio of existing strong brands instead. This has been done in countries such as China and gives us strategic benefits from their brand recognition in those markets, and also the opportunity to bring the portfolio out of the country into our other areas. As Crystal has mentioned, our current global presence is quite strong. As of 2014, we have had 2,301 restaurants in the Philippines and 612 stores overseas. This is our recently posted fourth quarter financial results last month, and it can be seen that we are doing consistently well. This graph shows our net income for the past 5 years, and it does show that we have had consistently strong results as we have had increasing net income over the past 5 years. So as the results show, we're doing well with our current strategy, and we're looking at many other new markets such as Indonesia, Japan, Malaysia, and Canada. Our company has been particularly interested in Canada, as we have statistics indicating a strong presence of Filipinos there, only second to the US.
Thanks, Ms. So, for the sharing. To analyze if Canada is a market worth expanding into, we'd like to invite the industry experts to talk more about the fast food industry in Canada before discussing further on the expansion plan.
Thank you, Crystal. In fact, regarding to the competitive rivalry within the fast food industry in Canada, we consider that there's a strong competition. There's a high number of direct competitors as Tim Hortons, McDonald's, and Subway. There's a modest growth prospect estimated by less than 1% growth over the next 5 years. We also notice that the takeout and the drive-thru options are expected to grow 10% against the in-store visit. What are the effects? We consider that Jollibee should offer products that differentiate themselves with competitive prices. They also should offer a good service for takeout and drive-thru with promotions. Finally, considering that Filipino has a strong attachment to Jollibee and that according to Filipino immigrant statistics, Canada is the second ranking where there is the most Filipino immigrants. Then Jollibee should locate themselves at first near these local cultures. Regarding now to the bargaining power of the customer, we consider that it's moderate. In fact, there's a large size of customers, but also a large variety of fast food for them to choose from. The elasticity of the demand is high, considering that they are pretty sensible to the prices. There is a low switching cost for the customers, and we also notice that there is a trend for Canadians to shift towards more healthier foods. What are the effects? We think that Jollibee has to offer well-priced food. They also have to adapt their menu to healthier trend as presenting the nutritional fact of their food. Finally, they need to differentiate their product throughout the competitors. Now I will let Dr. Ajani to continue with the analysis.
Thank you, Mrs. Bernard. So, the bargaining power of suppliers is considered as low. First, items are readily available from many suppliers and are quite basic. Also, there is a low switching cost to other suppliers, and since high volume purchases are really important to suppliers, it gives a relative balance of power between the buyer and the supplier. Also, the fast food chains have the capacity for backward integration, which permits them to have a better control on their costs. But you can ask yourself, what is backward integration? It's simply a form of vertical integration that involves the purchase of suppliers. For example, Jollibee could buy a farm of potato in order to produce their own French fries. As for the threat of substitute, we consider it moderate. Indeed, there's a lot of alternatives to fast food. For example, restaurants, frozen fast food in the grocery stores, and even home cooking. Also, there is a low or almost inexistent switching cost to substitutes for the customers. However, it is important to mention that one of the big attractions to fast food comes from its convenience and the brand attachment. Therefore, Jollibee has to get loyal customers such as the Filipino population in Canada. They also have to offer well-priced and quality products. To conclude our Porter's 5 forces analysis, we will talk about threats of new entrants, which is high. Indeed, it only requires a moderate investment in capital, and fast food restaurants can benefit of economy of scale, which attracts them to enter this industry. The barriers to entry aren't high enough to keep new entrants away. But surely it is a big advantage to Jollibee to already have a good reputation and brand image. That will surely help them to get market shares more easily at first. Thank you, Christelle, for inviting us, and back to you.
Thank you for the great insight on the Canadian fast food industry. Given the information provided by the industry expert and the analysis by Ms. C, I would like to pose some questions to Ms. So. So, given the intensive competition, is it worth expanding into Canada? And if Jollibee is to expand into Canada, what will be the strategies implemented in the entry?
Okay, so I certainly agree with many of the points made by Ms. C and also the industry experts from Canada. These are issues that Jollibee is looking into as well. And I'm particularly concerned with two issues raised. Firstly, the intensive competition in Canada's fast food industry, and secondly, the difficulty in implementing strict controls, which gives us a high quality products in the new business. I believe that the first point can be addressed by first targeting the province or city with the highest Filipino population, and then slowly building up the brand to other Canadians. We believe that we are able to capture this niche market and will avoid competition on a larger scale for now. For the second issue, planning and implementation is key. Jollibee's competencies are its culture and quality of food, and we would never compromise that, as we have exemplified in our approach to Japan, being very cautious with our market research. It is of key importance that we find suppliers with low cost and high quality food, and bring the Jollibee experience over without a hitch. I'd like to end off by contrasting our future entry into Canada with our previous entry into US. We managed the process and did not use any franchises. Our motto is that when we enter a market, we do it right.
Thank you, Ms. So. Now that we have an overview of Jollibee's expansion plan, next up, we would like to invite students from NUS Business School, VSP 3001B, for their views. Thank you!